Welcome to Bay Area Panthers Weekly. I am Mike Pawlawski, and this week the Panthers were on the road at elevation in Prescott, Arizona, hostile environment, and they just went out and won 30-41. We talked about it all during the week. We talked to Coach Keefe last week about potential for a trap game, going up against a team who wasn't a great team, and so there was that mindset going in. I've got to tell you, I think I fell prey to it. I think I fell prey to the trap game phenomenon. But the Panthers come away with the big win. Right now, Rob Keefe joining us for the show. And, Coach, I wanted to ask you that question because I caught myself during the game. Oh, you drop an interception on defense, right? And then you drop another interception on defense. And the offense doesn't look super clean. You see guys in a couple places. I'm thinking, uh-oh, here it is, trap game. But then at the end of the game, we were doing the post game, and I go, well, the Panthers scored 41 points, so that's a pretty good number. And they held them to 30 points, which is, 5 less than their average. I said, so maybe it wasn't as bad as I think. You looked at the film. You tell me. How was the game? How did it turn out?
No, great question. Look, and I totally, respect every opponent that we play. I mean, that's the biggest thing that you have to do in any professional league. It's tough to win. It's tough to win on the road. And the altitude was a factor. I mean, it 100% was a factor. The heat was a factor. The crowd noise was a factor. And there's some bad blood between these teams, right? We had a lot of guys that were coming, both players and staff members that left Northern Arizona. The Northern Arizona ownership didn't quite like that too much. I mean, it was very... It was palpable before the game. Don't forget that. I mean, we were losing 18-17 in halftime. So there was a lot going on there for us to be able to pull that one out. We got stopped on our first drive. We weren't able to get out of our own red zone. That was a problem. We dropped interceptions. We gave up 3 fourth downs, which is something that, we're trying to work on. So nevertheless, we had a fight to the end. 41-30. And again, I can always tell when the altitude is a factor because when we scored and when we got big plays on defense, nobody was celebrating. That's a big deal. You go from 350 feet at sea level to 5,100 feet at elevation, mile high. I mean, that's a real thing. And they play to their strengths, which is, crowd noise, rounded, small end zones, altitude, heat. And luckily we didn't fall in that trap, got the wind, got out of there.
So your kicker, Axel Perez, had a huge night. Big, long field goal, and he hit 3 deuces. How much of a difference does that make in terms of energy, in terms of getting momentum for the team when he's hitting those deuces?
Well, it's huge, right? And so myself, Coach Moss, Coach Windsor, Trey Meadows, we won a championship in Northern Arizona in 2022 together before I came here and took over with the Bay Area Panthers. And when we were up there, well, look, let's use the altitude to our strength, right? Long field goals, the deuces, that ball is going to travel. I mean, there's a big reason why you can kick 70-yarders in Denver in the NFL. I mean, that's just a fact. If you're going to kick a deuce in this league, you might as well do it in the highest altitude elevation that you have. And so he was awesome on it, man. To hit 3 of them right there, I mean, that's 9 points. I mean, for us to win by 11 says a lot of how Axel was just such a factor. And then, to kick a 50-yarder, I mean, we still had room between a 9-foot upright. Axel had a great day for us. And again, another returner that played in Northern Arizona last year. And so a lot of emotions were high for him, and he wanted to prove that he was going to have a good day, and I'm really happy that he did.
You talked a little bit about the bad blood. Did you get the business from any of the fans there during the game? Anybody give you any heat?
No, the fans were great. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we brought them a championship, and they're great fans up there, right? Super supportive. We had some Bay Area Panthers fans that traveled too. A lot of our players too and our staff members have a lot of friends on the road, right? And everywhere we go, we're able to hand out a lot of tickets that are able to represent the Bay Area Panthers. We had some people from the Bay Area that traveled to see us. And then I am super appreciative of the Northern Arizona Wrangler fans that remembered us. A lot of good energy from the crowd. And, again, good football team. The Wranglers, fought hard. That was a hard-fought football game. And, again, they gave us their all. We're always going to get everybody's best. That's a respect thing there with this league. And, again, really happy to get that W because that's a tough place to play.
So the quarterback, Ramon Atkins, different guy than you faced the first time going around. What was the difference in the game with him playing back there?
Well, Ramon's a good player, right? Ramon was the offensive rookie of the year 2 years ago. In this league, it's kind of bounced around for a couple leagues. I think that he ended up in Northern Arizona because his brother's on the offensive line, and so his brother, they got to play together. How awesome is that? But Ramon, 6'3", 230, a very Cam Newton-like body type. I mean, he's a big dude. He can run the ball, and he can see defenses. I mean, it's his 3rd year in the league. He knows what he's doing with the football. We dropped a few picks, which, we can't do. We got to take advantage of when those balls, are hitting us right in the hands there. We got to make sure that we're able to catch the interception there. But he does a good job managing the game. And then good for them in Northern Arizona to find Ramon, to obviously use maybe that brother connection to get him up there because he gives them a real shot to win every single football game.
Yeah, when the defense started dropping interceptions, that's when I started thinking, ooh, maybe, that whole trap game thing, like that's when it got nervous for me because you guys have been so good at taking the ball away this year. And so that was one for me. Part of what was going on too on defense is you had a couple guys that are normally starters who didn't make the trip this week. Tyler Watson
Yeah.
didn't make the trip, and John Ross didn't make the trip. So you didn't have the continuity that you normally have. Talk about how that affects the defense.
Yeah, without a doubt. We wanted to rest some guys, and look, they're going to be okay. But you got to pick and choose, right? This is a long season, right? And every week you have to pick and choose who needs their rest. Luckily nobody's injured, but yeah, John Ross at the defensive end spot wasn't out there, and Tyler Watson at the safety spot wasn't out there. So Joe Fouché goes to safety. Frankie West Jr. moves up into the starting lineup at the field corner spot. But we work on these things, every single week. We try to rotate as much as we can throughout the week to create that continuity. I really think a lot of it I really do think the altitude. I mean, that's a real thing. When you're losing oxygen levels, the concentration is hard. And look, all respect to our guys. Look, I annoy these players. That's part of my job, throughout the week. I'm going to get on their case, and I'm going to make sure they hear me, 100 freaking times. So you're very much like a parent. All right, Dad, I get it. And I'm going to make sure they get it. But they work really hard for us, and I'm so appreciative of how hard they work. But, yeah, you could look at some guys' eyes who felt like they might not be playing up to the level of their standards. But, again, you're gasping for air. I mean, how do you prepare for 100 feet? I mean, that's just a real thing. So once we got the game going, we came out of halftime, we scored first in that opening drive. I felt like everything settled down, but it took all 4 quarters to win that football game. But eventually they were able to kind of adjust to that altitude, and everything started falling into place.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that one of the biggest performance changers for people these days is really focused on your breath, right? Breathing and controlling your breath. And so when you're out of control of your breath, it feels very out of control for everything else. It makes it harder to concentrate on what you're doing for sure. Offensively, Tyrese Chambers, Trayvon Alexander, both back. Both of them got at least 1 touchdown this week. Talk about the difference that they make in terms of big bodies, catching the ball, and Tyrese Chambers in particular, boy, he goes up and he gets it. When that ball is in the air, he decides it's his, and that's that.
Yeah, 100%. And when you look at our offense, I mean, outside of Josh Jones and Tosin Oyekame, I mean, we're a young offense. I mean, all 3 offensive linemen are rookies. Chambers is a rookie. Alexander's a rookie. BK Smith's a rookie. Tomas is back for his 2nd year. I mean, there's nobody with more than 2 years experience on that offense. So this is a very young offense. So you're seeing them just get better and better and better every single week, and really proud of these guys. And they came to play. Chambers missed a few games. Luckily, he's back healthy. Same with Alexander, back healthy. And now they're rocking and rolling. And now they're starting to find that stride again, and they're getting back in shape. And I think that, like we're talking about breathing, right? I can't tell you how many times I said in through your nose, out your mouth. I mean, I felt like I was a yoga instructor.
Yeah.
But when you miss a certain amount of games, there's no shape like game shape. And so now they're starting to get back, and they're starting to get back in connection with, Josh Jones and the quarterback. And Coach Windsor uses these guys so well, and he knows their strengths, knows their weaknesses. But, yeah, man, they play so hard. And when that ball's in the air, man, they go out and get it, and great hands, right? And everybody's catching the ball really well, knock on wood on that. But, really proud of the way that they're understanding the offense, and it's only getting better.
And Tyrese Chambers had that incredible one-handed catch. It's a high hard ball, back shoulder, goes up and makes play on a fade ball into a rounded end zone, which is not easy to do.
It's not easy to do. And again, practice makes perfect, right? I mean, all these little cliches you want to say. I can't tell you how many one-handed catches he made in practice this past week. I mean, there's probably about 10 to 12 one-handed catches by him, in the end zone this week. And when he made that catch, it was like, oh man, it was like we were watching practice all over again. So this stuff is starting to come into fruition in terms of how hard we're practicing. We're really pushing each other at practice. And again, everybody's getting the rhythm and the timing down. And it's so awesome to see it get better every week.
And you talked about these young guys, and you keep talking about how everybody's improving. That's one of the keys towards making a championship run. Some teams will peak out midseason. Some teams will peak early. You guys just keep getting better game after game after game. How does a win like this help you as you now make your championship push? 4 games left, 3 of them on the road. How does that win and getting better all the time help?
Yeah, I said it after the game in the locker room. If that doesn't show you that every team in this league is going to play us tough, I don't know what more I have to say, right? I mean, again, all respect to the Northern Arizona Wranglers. I mean, that's a 1-11 team, now a 1-12 team. I mean, and they gave us everything we could possibly handle. I mean, it's professional football. And so the level of concentration, the attitude every day in practice, the routine, the discipline that you have to have in the month of July, for us, I mean, this is, if you look at the NFL, this is December football we're going into right now. I mean, this is really what this is, right? I mean, this is July is positioning yourself for the playoffs. And then again, when we get to the playoffs, that's a whole nother animal. So let's start to perfect what we're doing here. We play San Diego, we play Las Vegas, we play Tucson, and then we have to go all the way on the road to Massachusetts. Those are 4 playoff teams right there. And, right now Tucson's fighting for that 4 spot. San Diego and Vegas are trying to position themselves. Massachusetts is trying to get into that. I mean, these are teams that are fighting right now. So we're going to get everybody's best. And so we can't slack. I mean, we can't take anyone for granted. And again, this is just the beginning. And with that being said, all these young guys, well, guess what, man? It's not college football anymore. Like, we've just played a 12-game season. Well, this is professional football. You got 4 more left just in the regular season. So this is a long, grinding period. And so, again, I always give credit to the strength and conditioning coaches and the head athletic trainers and the chiropractors and the massage therapists. I mean, it's going to take everything to win this championship, but it's one day at a time, one game at a time.
And this upcoming week especially, because you've got San Diego Monday and you come back and you play Las Vegas Friday. And so talk about how tough that trip is. Talk about what you are going to have to do to manage this week coming up.
Yeah, look, and we, again, you said it best, man. We got a Monday game and a Friday game. We got 2 games in 5 days, but I don't want to make it look like, hey, man, we're playing 2 games here, right? Well, we got to deal with that second game when it comes. And so for the players, man, hey, again, one day at a time. And that's what you have to do with younger players, right? You have to compartmentalize. Let's just focus at the task at hand. But San Diego's a great team. I mean, they really are. They're 8-4. And when you look at who they lost, outside of us, and Vegas, they slipped up just like we did against San Antonio. Again, all credit to San Antonio. They haven't lost to that many teams. I mean, they're 8-4, and here we are, only 2 games ahead of them. So they're going to give us their all. We have to go down there. Both wins that we had against them this year were at home. We have to now go there. And it hasn't been lost upon me that they were the team that knocked us out of the playoffs. Nate Davis, who's a great quarterback, is now in shape. He's running the ball a little bit more. He's slinging it all over the place. I mean, he's a quarterback that knows exactly where to go with the ball, and he's now getting better because now his receivers are starting to understand, again, at this juncture and stage of the season, where they need to be because he wants them there. And so they're getting hot at the right time. I mean, these are going to be some battles, man, and we got to give everybody the respect that they're deserving of.
If there's one key, what is it for the rest of the season?
Look, it's health. I mean, that's a big part of it, right? And that's just something that we have to be smart about how we practice and how we manage our guys. But again, we have to make sure that everybody understands their role. And I think a big talk with the players this week and continuing is like, it's time to step up. It's time to really look. You'll see teams that are going to go out and get some players. Right. I don't believe in that. I believe in building from within. I think, unless you have to replace somebody because maybe somebody's not up to par or up to standards. But, there's going to be some guys that, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but some teams feel like, hey, man, we got to do something different. I feel like we have a good team. I feel like we have a team that can win a lot of football games. We just have to start perfecting and have to really start dialing in. So whatever you have internally, whatever you have, intrinsically in your world, right now it's time to really tune in, man. Now it's time to get to the point where this is winning time. And this is the time of the season where, hey, there's only roughly about 50 days to the championship game. So now it's time to buckle down and, man, we got to take it one day at a time. We've got to do our best every single day.
Absolutely. Coach, I appreciate you coming on today. A big win, sometimes even an ugly win, is the most important win towards the end of the season because so many coachable moments, so much opportunity to improve, but you still are pushing for that home field advantage. So great win on the road. When we come back, we'll talk to quarterback Josh Jones about what it was like to return to where he won the Offensive Rookie of the Year last year at Northern Arizona. So a homecoming for him in this game. Played great. We'll talk to him. And then you're going to meet Wes Bowers. He's not a newcomer, but he's a new face for the Panthers this year as he's returning from injury. We'll talk about that story. Don't forget, the game coming up Monday, 6:05. You can catch the pregame here at 5:50, KMBR 1050, and we'll be right back after this.